everyone. Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Odd online dating podcast. I'm your host, Craig Palmer, author of the Good, the Bad, and the Odd online dating book. So don't forget to pick that up. I will let you know where to pick that up a little bit later in the show. Let me introduce my co host, Miss Duhard, Playboy Bunny 1987.
This
I'm just
boy,
kidding.
I cannot with you.
I was like, okay.
Cannot.
Uh, and you know what?
Don't
I
pay him
want to
no
just,
mind.
I want to, sincerely thank Charlotte and Mark Barr for coming on the show today because,
Mhm.
I think people need to see a different perspective. And Charlotte and Mark met online and they were fortunate to find each other. And I think some people, men and women, aren't as fortunate. And I think that sometimes, and this is me as a man saying, I think women in particular find a little bit despair when it comes to online dating, especially if you can't find someone. Because I think a lot of people are looking for their one, their forever, their last first date or what have you. And
Mhm.
so I want to thank both of
Mhm.
you for coming on and just sharing your experience because people need to hear positive stories, not, those negative ones that we always hear online and on television and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So
Mhm.
let me start with Charlotte, ladies first, right? So, Charlotte, let me ask you, what was your online dating experience like prior to meeting Mark?
Oh, it was a roller coaster. It was very tumultuous at times. It was very disappointing at times. It was interesting at times. Sometimes it was a little scary and left you a little bewildered sometimes. So, all of the emotions that you can actually experience, um, you experience them when you're online dating.
So now, what site did you two meet on?
We met on Bumble.
Bumble, okay. So now Bumble is the site where women make the first approach. So you approached him first.
Well, the way the site works is the man actually goes into the woman's beehive. So he
Mm-hmm.
shows interest, right?
Right.
But the woman
Okay.
is the one that actually chooses whether or not she wants to interact or engage with that person.
Right.
Okay.
So I can tell you this. I've been on multiple dating sites, and what I liked about Bumble is that it allowed me to choose, right? I didn't
Mhm.
feel as though I had to per se reach out to someone, and because I'm old fashioned still, right? I still have
Mm-hmm.
very old fashioned values,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
I didn't want to have to reach out to a guy and not know whether or not he was interested in me. So Bumble allowed me the opportunity to say, okay, if these guys are in my quote unquote beehive, then they're interested in me. So then I can go from there and
Mhm.
engage with them in a conversation.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, got you, got you. So let me ask you, Mark, what sites were you now? What sites are you on? Where were you on prior?
Uh, well, there was Bumble, there was Tinder, there was uh Black Dating, and there was one other, I can't remember the name right now. So I've been on several. Another one was Plenty of Fish, and that one was just crazy.
Mhm.
So I had no good and bad, but Bumble seemed to be a little bit more mature people, and not necessarily in terms of
Mhm.
age, but it's in terms of how they carry themselves, what their bio says and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So I had more success as far as compatibility with Bumble. That was just my experience.
Mhm. So now let me ask you now, did either one of you ever try what's that one with that they match you based upon um the web, what's that one that everyone always talks about that's
I know.
that's based upon personality, not looks? What's that one?
I
Mhm.
Huh?
I can't remember the name. I know
I
what
don't
you're
know which
talking
one that
about.
is.
I'm
Is
Which
it
what you
the
say?
I've
it's
never heard of that one.
The
It's gonna
Duke or
come.
something?
It's gonna come to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Miss,
I'm
well, I
not
know what
familiar
you're
with that
talking
one at
about.
all.
Yeah.
It's like a
Mm.
$60 or $80 fee, and you put in all your personal info. It's supposed to be a little bit more in depth,
Right.
but as I was going through, honestly, I just got this is too tedious. So honestly, I just bailed on it. Like halfway through doing the application, I just said this is too much.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
I didn't want that much information out there. It's just that was just me, my little bias.
Hmm. So now, how long had you been online dating? Like, how long were you on the site?
Oh wow, on Bumble or just all together?
Altogether.
Oh, probably a good solid 3 years or so.
Okay.
Probably a good solid 3 years.
Okay. So now, have both of you been married previously?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, all right. So that's great. So, I mean, and for folks that don't know, let me just explain. You guys got married, right? So,
Yes.
how long did you, or should I, let me backtrack for a moment. How long did you guys talk before you actually met face to face?
You
You
want to
want
handle
to?
Charlotte or me?
Okay. So, I think we first started talking like a Friday night. No, yeah, maybe a Friday night. We talked Friday, Saturday, and we met Sunday.
Oh, okay, great. Because I've always said that to me, if you're talking to someone, you should kind of meet pretty quickly because you invest a lot of time and knowledge and energy with someone. And, if you don't meet face to face, how you feel about the person once you meet face to
Right.
face can be completely different than how things flowed while you're over the phone. Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so
I agree with
chemistry is
you.
a major, and one of the viewers said eHarmony. That's the one I was thinking about. eHarmony.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But we had
so,
initially met probably maybe 2 years ago, just had a brief, no conversation on
hmm.
Bumble. But I guess at that moment, both of us might have been in a slightly different place where we weren't really feeling each other at
Right.
that time. So it was just kind of weird when we met this second time. I literally was going to get off dating sites the next day, literally.
Uh-huh.
I said, this is the last time. And the lady I seen before, Charlotte, she
Uh-huh.
was there. So it was kind of weird because I literally was going to get off and it was like the last hurrah. Then both of us saw each other.
Right, right.
Yeah. And the
Got
same
you,
for
got
me. I think my membership was expiring, and I just wasn't gonna do it anymore. I've online dated. It's funny when you mentioned um, about being a professional and being a little bit older and having time. So me being in the medical field, I don't have a lot of time to go out, right?
you. Right,
And on the weekend, to be honest with you, I'm tired, right? Because I work very long hours.
right.
So online dating, as much as it sometimes can bring you through all of those emotional things that I'm, referred to, it also streamline things for you also, right? Because you get to know a little bit about the person prior to you engaging with them. And you can do it from the comfort of your home. You don't have to leave your house necessarily until you get ready to meet someone. And so it's a good tool, and that's where we are these days because um, when I was coming up, you would go out and, a guy would send a drink over to your table or come up to your table and say, hey, how are you? My name is, introduce yourself. Well, we don't do that anymore because people
Right.
are engaged in their phones. They, just are very standoffish. They have a fear of rejection. They may not know if you're married or you're not married because some people wear rings, some people don't wear rings, right? So the interaction nowadays is completely different from when I was younger coming up, in my youth. So, online dating for me provided a good tool
Right,
in order for me to meet people.
right.
Mhm.
You're totally right with that. Because and not only that, but COVID also. Because, now,
Mhm.
there was a time that you could approach women in places. But now, when COVID happened, now in some cases they want you to be 6 feet away.
Mhm.
So guys are,
Mhm.
less likely to approach women the way they used to. And
Mm,
listen, there's other things too, like tuberculosis and all this other kind of crazy stuff. So
mm,
guys are just, I know for me personally, like the woman has to kind of give you the high sign. There was a time
mm.
that a woman, and if you might remember this from the old movies, in the old movies, the woman would go to the guy and say, "Do you have a light?" Right?
Mm,
Right.
And the guy be like, "Yeah, right." And that was how they
mm,
kind of interacted, and they started like, saying, "Hey, how you
Mhm.
doing? Like, what's your name?" and this and that. Like now, you don't have that. So
Mhm.
mm,
like you said, we're not going out like we used to. Like you could meet people on spring break and in
Mhm.
college
mhm,
and all that kind of stuff. But once you've gotten out of past college and you don't do spring break
mhm.
anymore, online dating, that stigma is no longer there.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so Arena, you had a question, Arena?
So I did have a question, but it's interesting because my mind started going somewhere else because I actually haven't experienced that. When I go out, I still get guys that will come up and, but I think it's also where I live at too, living in St. Augustine. We
Mhm.
live in a tourist area and we live in a business district. So if you're out at like a specific type of bar, there are still a lot of interactions that take place
Mhm.
where I've had guys come up to me and exchange their number. I was surprised a guy actually still wrote his phone number down and slid it into my hand. I was like, oh, this is cute. This is
Oh,
really
that was
old
really cute.
school.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. He was like, such a pleasure meeting you, and just like slid his phone number in my hand. I was like, okay.
Mhm.
But I was really curious, like, how was that reconnecting for the second time? Was there any type of, nervousness on either one of your part, or what were you going? What was your mindset when you were going in, approaching each other again for the second time?
Um, I guess for me, it was like I said, I was very determined. I was very intentional about what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
um, and what I needed as well. So
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing about me is like when I was going through those, swiping left or swiping right,
Mm-hmm.
it was,
Mm-hmm.
reading people's profiles. Because to me, that
Mm-hmm.
meant a lot. Because to me, if you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
meet somebody, then, your profile should, hey, that's your resume. And I don't have time to
Mm-hmm.
be looking through about, oh, I like swimming, I like eating, and I like watching
Mm-hmm.
TV. Well, that's nothing. I mean, tell me something
Mm-hmm.
about yourself. I know you only get like a paragraph, but if you're
Right.
intentional and you're serious, you'll put some details and significant things. So my
Mm-hmm.
deal was, looking at something that someone said they were intentional, someone was being, open and
Mm-hmm.
direct, and they were
Mm-hmm.
kind of alluding to, what they were looking for. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
I was in my profile. My profile, I guess people probably say, well, man, you're kind of short, but I don't have so many lines. So I said a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
myself, what I want, a little bit about me, what my expectations were. But, I tried to
Mm-hmm.
be as concise, but also as detailed in that. So my deal was looking for somebody who I could, visually. I mean, I always just the first thing you
Mm-hmm.
see is visual. So I mean, you like what you like, so this is
Mm-hmm.
being real. So no, hey, if physically
Mm-hmm.
you look like what I like, have more than one photo. That's the other thing. You just give me one little
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
headshot,
Right.
swipe. You got to get at least three, 4, or 5 photos, and nothing from 1990s or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I mean, some recent pics, and state that too. These are recent pics because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people. I mean, I went on a couple of dates where I thought a lady was one thing, and when I met her, I said, I don't even recognize you at all. I mean,
Hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
No
Right.
facial features, not body,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So it's
Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
so the main thing is knowing what you want, knowing what you need, and find a person that has that
Mm-hmm.
same kind of thing in their bio. And of course, try to
Hmm.
talk and communicate as soon as you can. So that's what Charlotte and I both did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked
Hmm.
that first day on November the 8th. And then I think the very next day we met out at a park and went for a walk. That's what we
And
Mm-hmm.
did. We
that's a
went
great
for like a
first
two
date.
hour, a 2 hour walk, not to a restaurant. Because in
Hmm.
fact, I was what was it, Charlotte? What we were gonna do? Was it a restaurant the first time that I changed
Yeah,
it?
we were gonna go to some breakfast spot, and then we both decided that we would take a walk around Stone Mountain, which is 5 miles actually. So
Mm.
that's what we did.
Right.
Oh,
So now
okay.
I have the tough questions, right?
Mm.
So now the tough
Okay.
question, and I'm going to ask Charlotte this. What made Mark stand out?
Um, what made Mark stand out is because we talked for hours. Like we walked around Stone Mountain, which is 5 miles. First of all, I was attracted to him. Let me start there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because everything, as much as I used to always say, well, looks doesn't matter to me. And I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
person that really like, oh, he has to be 6'1", he has to be 200 pounds. I'm not that type of person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think physical attraction is great, but because again I work in the medical field, that can be gone in a blink of an eye,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Somebody can have an accident that they lose a limb or they become disfigured in a moment's notice. And then what are you left if everything is just built on whether I got a guy that's 6'1" and 200 pounds?
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's more about the mental connection. I'm very sapiosexual. I like conversation. I get stimulated with conversation. You have to be able to
Mhm.
be well versed. I want to be able to talk about politics, religion, family, current events, um,
Mhm.
just even celebrity gossip, right? I want
Mhm.
someone that's very well rounded like that.
Mhm.
And so it probably took us about an hour and a half to walk around the mountain. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just continuous conversation. And Marka always teased me and say, and you held me hostage after we got off our walk. Like I literally got in the car and I was driving. We were in the parking spot, and I said, "Well, get in my car. I'll drive you to your
Uh-huh.
car down the way." And I didn't start the car immediately. We
Uh-huh.
just sat there and started talking. So he always said, "You held me hostage afterwards," but the conversation was that good that
Mhm.
I just wanted to keep talking. And we were very, very upfront, open, and honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Mhm.
back up just a little bit. So, online dating, I've been online dating for quite some time, and I feel like online dating has evolved, right? So,
Mhm.
Mark mentioned a couple of things. So, one, men want to see more than one picture, right? I
Definitely.
can
Mhm.
go so far as it has evolved from pictures to video. Like I have had
Mhm.
people say, I want a video chat with you before I meet
Mhm.
you, right? And I'm gonna
Mhm.
be honest, at first I took offense to that. What you mean you want a video chat? But however,
Mhm.
unfortunately, even women get men who have pictures up that are not very
Mhm.
honest or current and things like that. Um,
Mhm.
I when I first started online dating, people would invite me out to dinner. Well, dinner is usually about a 2 hour event, an hour and a half.
Mhm.
You're not just eating and going. And then if they take you to a nice restaurant, then it's like, okay, well, where are you going? I just spent like $150 on you. No. So
Mhm.
I evolved in my dating process, right? One,
Mhm.
we're gonna meet during the daytime. We're gonna have coffee, a coffee shop, take a walk around the park. Because another thing, men, and I understand this because my god brother would say it's expensive. If you're trying to date
Mhm.
multiple people or trying to make a connection for
Mhm.
the first time, and you got to take four different people
Mhm.
out, you know, and each time you're spending $150. And I had to think about that as a woman, right? Because sometimes I think
Mhm.
we get remiss with that. We don't think about the financial impact the man has,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
However, I also don't want you to feel like I'm obligated to spend a lot of time with you, and we may not have a connection on the first time that I meet you. So if
Right.
we having
Mhm.
coffee, I can buy my own coffee, or what is a cup of coffee, $5.
Mhm.
We can have a little conversation, and then from there, if
Mhm.
we connect, then great. I'll see you another time. If not, like we'll go on a
Mhm.
real date. But if not, no harm, no foul. Another
Mhm.
thing is I used a lot of filters in a sense that um, I knew I wanted someone that, and I know I may get a lot of pushback on this, a lot of comments, but I knew I wanted someone that was college educated. I knew I wanted someone that had religious beliefs in God.
Shut up.
I knew, like, so
Yes,
I
yes.
got really, really strategic with the things.
Uh-huh.
So my filters was like boom, boom, boom. It almost narrowed it
Mm-hmm.
down to, like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
However, that's what I wanted. And on my profile was very specific, and I said, something like, I'm the girl next door. I'm not looking for just one night connection. I'm looking for a long lasting intentional relationship, and I am I alluded to the fact that I was celibate in a sense, so that would weed a lot of people out. So in other
Right.
words, hey,
Mhm.
let me tell you before you come in my little hive, this is what I want. So if that's not what you're in line with, then hey,
Mhm.
we're gonna streamline this and you can keep on going.
Mhm.
Right. And it's so funny. I pointed at Miss Duhard because I always tell her I want someone educated. Right. And she's like, well, people can be smart without being educated. And I totally get that. Don't get
No,
me
I said
wrong.
people can be educated without higher education or
Right.
without having a degree. People can still be educated without
Right.
having a degree. That's where
Yes.
you and I differ.
Right. But you know what? I want someone that, if they have a higher degree, and it's funny because I was talking to someone about this just the other day. It breeds confidence. So like when you tell me something, I'm gonna believe you, right? And I'm gonna trust what you tell me. Now, someone who, and no disrespect to folks that don't have a degree, right? But if you don't have a degree and you start telling me about something, I don't know if you just read this in a magazine or something or the newspaper, but if you went to college and you actually read it somewhere and you've gotten some information, some authentic information, I tend to kind of trust it a little bit more, right? And that's not to say there aren't intelligent folks who don't have degrees, but I do want someone who's, because I believe college makes a person more well-rounded. It exposes you to a much wider variety of things, and so that's why I would prefer someone educated. And you might end up with someone who's not, but I'm just saying, like, just for me, I just think it breeds for a better conversation because they have been exposed. Like we can watch Jeopardy together, right?
No, and
Where
I completely disagree with that because I feel the men at least that I've dated being a millennial and in our generation, men who have dated who have gone to college, they're not well rounded at all. They have very, very limited worldviews. I prefer a person, and that's why I prefer more persons who have grown up in the city as opposed to more, suburban areas, because I feel
hmm
like they've actually worked for what they had to get. And so they
hmm
have that mindset of wanting to take care of a family and having that drive to take care of a family, and they know how to take care of a family. They've seen it done, as
hmm
opposed to just having things handed to them or just being locked in one mindset. So, I mean, I think it really just depends on, preference. And because I found some extremely intelligent men that are entrepreneurs that have not gone to college, but are very
hmm
educated in their fields.
right, right.
Yeah.
So
But
now,
see, that's where
Mark,
to me, I think that goes to your profile. Because that's why your
Mhm.
profile to me should be very specific, very intentional
Mhm.
about what you're looking for. By the way, I'm
Mhm.
waiting for Shaw to answer the question that you asked Craig. What did she find attractive about me?
He's
You're
like,
the
we're
answer
not
the
getting
question.
away from that question.
Is she holding
He's
back?
like, we're not moving
because I
away
was
from
gonna
that at
ask
all.
Mark, how tall are you, Mark?
I'm 5'10" and a half.
5'10" and a half. See,
Okay, oh, we
so
gotta have that.
you've just
Had that
made
half
it
it. I love
where
it.
guys out there all around the world is saying, I have a chance. All right. You've just, because there's so many women's profiles that say, I want a guy to be 6'1", like she
And
mentioned.
what does that mean? I never understand that.
Well, okay, so for me, because I am 5'4", I say that I don't put this in my profile, but I do look at this very specifically in the profiles I go through. If you're under 6 feet, I swipe left immediately. But because I'm 5'4" and I'm always in heels, at least 4 to 6 inch heels, I don't want to look down on my man. I want to be able to look up to him and just feel more secure if I'm out with him. So I say 5'10", 5'11" is my shortest I would go, only because I'm always in heels. And, I just feel more safe and more comfortable being with someone
Gotcha.
I'm not looking down on while I'm wearing my heels.
Gotcha.
And I
So
think that's where a
Mark,
lot of
That's
women
your
get it from. It's
preference,
from them
though.
being in heels.
But I
I think it's
mean,
just from women being in heels.
So
Yeah, but I
Mark,
mean, that's what I'm saying. That's your preference, and that's cool. I mean, there's no shade on that. But that's to me, that's the best thing about online dating. You can say exactly what I want,
Hmm.
and so a
Yeah,
person
because
comes back and disingenuous. Well, that tells you a lot about them right there. Because there's a lot of men,
hmm
women who don't care men's height.
hmm
There's some men who don't
hmm
want women that are short. They just don't. They want a woman about as tall as they, because
hmm
they think, hey, if I have a child, I don't want, a minuscule child. I want somebody who's gonna have a chance to make it to the NBA.
right.
So there's a lot of men that don't want to date women who are
who are
significantly shorter
shorter.
than them.
Yep.
So
Hmm
that does work both ways, but that's still to me all goes
hmm
back to what's in your profile, and that's how
hmm
Charlotte and I. Didn't attracted me about her was her profile was like mine, was concise to the point. She said what she wanted. She said where she been, and what
hmm
she was intentional looking for. So we had that first
hmm
conversation. We like each other's tone, each other's honesty. There was no representative. It was no us, not a rep. And then we decided to meet. So everything, all the boxes were checked. And I'm the type where I kind of see what you're saying, Ariana, about I want a person who's book smart. I like a person also street smart because that's the world we
hmm
live in. So you got to be able to operate in different, environments.
hmm
So, if
hmm
you're in a boardroom, be comfortable. But if you're just, on a street corner with somebody shooting dice, you should be able to navigate that too, because that's the world we live in. So I want someone who's
Exactly.
well-rounded, because if we're, yeah, 'cause we're not in the boardroom and I'm incapacitated, how you gonna get us home?
Right.
Exactly.
So Mark,
You know?
so Mark, more specifically, so what about Charlotte, excluding looks? Like
Mhm.
what characteristics stood out to you?
Well, I mean, the first thing was she was very, very open. I mean, whatever question I asked, there wasn't any hesitation, no hemming and hawing, like, thinking about it. Everything was like direct, And then once you get to a certain age, you can kind of see through BS. You can see through somebody's, contemplating what they're gonna say. So, I like that she was very open, very direct, probably more open than a lot of people, but I think it's because we had that little synergy from the start. We just really did.
Right.
So what attracted me about her was that her openness, her honesty. She was very open about her background and her career and her aspirations, and all that was real. And the fact that both of us had kids from prior relationships also gave us an understanding about that, because there might have be
Mhm.
at some point an integration of families, if it goes where we want it to go. So it had to be somebody
Mhm.
also who would understand that dynamic of having another adult that has children. And we all know if you do have children, that it changes a whole different thing to deal with, because a date might get canceled. Hey, or I have to work late.
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm.
so I've been on dates where I said up front, hey, I have two teen kids. My son was then 16 and a half. My daughter was like 12 and a half. And so, hey, if they have a after school thing or something going on, so when they
Mhm.
said, well, you're breaking a date. Yeah, my kids come first. If we were together, my kids and your kids would come first. You had kids. So that's
Right.
not being an adult. That's not being reasonable. So Charlotte
Mhm.
was all of that. She was open, honest, approachable. She knew what she wanted, and we just really had a synergy about we
Mhm.
could accept our differences and talk about them, but not let that be something where um, it would impact us going forward. It would just be, hey, I accept your differences. As long as we
Mhm.
communicate, we're respectful, we'll be good. So that was it.
Right. So now,
Mhm.
Well,
at what point did you decide this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with? Because you guys got married relatively quickly, so right? Because you guys met in November, right? So what we
Yes.
November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. You got married what in July, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Right. So we're
Oh,
talking about
newlyweds.
9 months.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
Oh, love it.
And the only reason why I asked that is because my co-host wants to get married like in 2 weeks, right? Every guy
mhm,
she meets, she wants to marry them in like three
That is
weeks.
not true. Any guy I meet typically proposes to me in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, this is insane. I've been proposed to twice. I love how he tries to like push it on me. Hysterical. I do want to be married.
so
So,
I guess to correct answer your question was, I
mhm,
mean, I guess we didn't see it that way. Charlotte had a phrase when we first met earlier, and she said, we're fast tracking. We're fast tracking. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have any BS, you don't have any fluff, you don't
Uh-huh.
have any
Exactly.
unspoken drama. I mean, we were about as open and transparent with each other as two people could be. But that's because our bio said that. When we
Right.
met, we had the energy and synergy was said that. And then after we spoke and spent more time together, it was like, well, we can wait 3 years, but you're everything that I want. And hopefully I
Mhm.
was everything that she wanted. So other than that, we're just navigating, different things because some things do take time. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was my Alexa talking in the background. I was
Oh,
pointing at
okay.
Craig because
Yeah.
Craig is the one that always wants to. He's like, no, you have to date somebody at least 2 to 3 years. You got to go through everything with them before you can determine if you're going to marry this person.
But you
Now
know
look at
what?
this beautiful couple right in front of us.
Hey,
Let me take that for a second, Mark.
go
I'm
ahead.
going to tell you guys a secret. Mark and I knew we were going to get that mindset, right?
Mhm.
And so we actually talked about how we were going to navigate and answer those types of questions. Because when
Mm-hmm.
your friends and your family, you know, they can put a lot of pressure on you. Like, you don't know this person. Are you crazy? What is going on with you? You just met him. And Ariana, I'm going to tell you, live in your truth. Yes, I want somebody to propose to me in 2 to 3 weeks. And I say that like jokingly, but I do mean that because let me go back. What I liked about Mark also, and I knew that he was the one, he was very intentional with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so women get all that all the time. You're gonna be my wife. If I had a dime for everybody, you're gonna be my wife. You're gonna be my wife. No. What are you doing to be intentional towards me?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Are you spending
Exactly.
time with me? Are you calling me?
Mm-hmm.
Mark invited
Mm-hmm.
me over to his house when I felt comfortable. He was like, "You can
Mm-hmm.
come over here anytime you want to come over here."
Mm-hmm.
He introduced me to his children when we felt like the time was right. I mean, it's just what are you waiting for at our age, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, knew my ex-husband um, probably about 3 years. You know, it was date a year, engaged a year, then you get married the next year, and it didn't work out. So is
Mm-hmm.
time really a factor? Especially at this age, we should know what we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should be intentional and you should work towards it. When you're in a relationship is work, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to communicate. You have to navigate through your differences and you have to be willing to resolve them. And what people lack or run away from so much these days is they always say, "Well, I want you to be my peace." Well, you know something? You ain't always gonna be peaceful in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That saying, I totally hate that saying, right? You
Mhm.
have to be
Mm-hmm.
peaceful within yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate when people say, well, I want somebody to complete me. You have to complete yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
Mark and I were both two complete,
Mm-hmm.
whole, peaceful people that were looking for another person to have companionship with, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
is it always rainbow and butterflies? No, it's not. But we agreed that we were going to talk things through. We're going to listen to each other. Sometimes I cut him off before he finishes. But, we're going to listen to each other and we were not going to bail, right? Once we
Mm-hmm.
got
Mhm.
engaged, we said, all right, we're engaged. We're committed to each other. We're going to be married. We are not running.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to work this out. We're not going to
Mm-hmm.
go to bed without working it out. And this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be the example to our children, our family, and to God to make this relationship work. And when two people want something, that's the key. You have to really want it. If you really want
Mm-hmm.
something, whether it's a job, career, anything in life, you're going to work at it. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's something I really did love about him was that he was intentional and he showed me, right? It wasn't just a text, good morning, queen. Don't good morning, queen me. I can tell you, you know, you could good morning, queen 5 people, right? I need you to be available to pick up the phone when I call. If it's just to say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a meeting, or text me back, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back. But we also
Mm-hmm.
understand each other's professions and boundaries. So, I'm not gonna be calling him while he at work, and he not gonna call me while I'm at work all the time. But you have to be able to be willing to put in the work and not just, oh, she didn't got on my nerves. Let me go to the next one. Because that's the thing too with online dating. It's so easy when somebody does something that you don't like. I just go in there,
Yep.
get another one,
Mm-hmm.
and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to break the
Mm-hmm.
cycle. When is it gonna stop? You
Uh-huh.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love her. Oh my goodness.
So, because that was actually that segues to my next question. So you kind of mentioned a little bit, but the question I was gonna, and I'll ask Charlotte first. What advice would you give to women out there who is feeling um, like they're not going to meet the one? So what advice would you give them?
so I can only give you the advice that I gave myself. One, I am very spiritual, and I talked to
Mm-hmm.
God, and I said, God, I don't know why, right? I haven't met my one. My desire is to be married, and God knows my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, God, if it is not your desire for me to remarry again, I accept that, right? Because I know what it's like to be loved. I have been married. I've been in some great relationships, and I have my kids and things like that. So whenever you see fit to bring that person to me, that's when it'll happen. But also, I had to work on myself. I had to be happy
Mm-hmm.
within myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also made a commitment to myself where I did take sex off the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of hard to do, right? In the sense that it it shuns men away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to say, you know something? I don't own anything else in this world except my body. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
my house can burn down, my car could get wrecked, everything. All I have is myself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if I can't meet a man and I didn't say I was celibate until marriage, right? But
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
am celibate until we make a commitment to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it was drawing those lines in the sand and being okay with standing on my truth that if I am by
Mm-hmm.
myself, then guess what? I'm gonna be by myself
Mm-hmm.
before I will
Mm-hmm.
allow someone to come in and cause me trauma. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
interact with so many people, we all have trauma, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
you're bringing that trauma into a relationship. Now you're gonna dump
Mm-hmm.
your trauma on me. Ugh, no. No, I got I'm dealing
Got
with
you. Got
myself,
you.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also worked on my mental health because I go to
Mm-hmm.
counseling, and I stay in counseling in the sense that counseling isn't just for when something's happened to you, oh, you bad, you sad.
Mm-hmm.
Counseling is to recognize, you know what, I had a great day today. Things are going good for me. Let me pour into myself. Let me talk to myself. I'm going to get that promotion. I'm going to get,
Mm-hmm.
further than I want to get with my family and my friends and whatever the case may be. So it's a lot of working on myself that I did
Mm-hmm.
before I put myself into really wanting to be in a committed marriage again. And I think that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
as women, we get caught up into, I want the man, I want the fairy tale. But a marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's two people
Mm-mm.
being very, committed to working together. So,
It's
Mhm.
funny you mentioned that because I went to a wedding not too long ago, and the pastor said or the person that presided over the wedding, he said something so true, and he said it's really not the good things that make the marriage, it's how you deal with the bad things, because
Mhm.
when everything is great, then you have no issues, no
Mhm.
problems, wonderful, but it's how you
Mhm.
deal with the adversity. How do you deal
Mhm.
with that first argument? You know what I mean? How do
Mhm.
and it's great that you guys have really good communication, where you guys are
Mhm.
able to say, all right, where do we want to live? How much do we
Mhm.
want to spend for this? Like
Mhm.
that's why to me communication has always been top of the list when when it
Mhm.
comes to online dating, because with good
Mhm.
communication, anything can be resolved. If you
Mhm.
don't have good communication, then what's going to happen is, you start having misunderstandings, right? That's when you
Mhm.
start going to bed angry with each other because you was
Mhm.
offended with something she said, or she's offended with something you said, when they got it completely wrong. So that's where
Mhm.
communication comes in, and you kind of iron it out and make certain that, okay, this is what I was talking about, and you're like, oh, okay, I thought you meant this, right?
Mhm.
So so Mark, so what's your advice to guys? Because the guys, I think sometimes we need more advice than the women, because the women know what they want. Right?
I think guys are more intentional right now as well, though. I'd be curious to see.
I don't. I can only speak for me and my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your question about what guys should do. I mean, like I said, I know it sounds simple, but it's important. I mean, I guess the first aspect is know what you want and know what you need,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and you have to put those two things together, because you can't, all your wants is mean doesn't mean that's what's good for you, right? All
Right.
of us want stuff, but then you have to have your needs. Your what are your needs, and then you got to find that synergy with that other person. Like anything, your wants and needs, and find that balance.
Right.
So that's the first thing. Know what you want and know what you need. What you need, and the next thing is, once you have that person, and Charlotte and I mean, even though it's early on, we only you said it, we communicate. I don't think more than 2 days go by where we don't have some type of little interaction about our communication, and
Mm-hmm.
that we say we love each other, and my goal is to be better, be a little bit better every day. So with
Mhm.
communication, I know we respect one another, because I think you have
Mhm.
to have both. You can have great communication, but
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
uh, just communicate doesn't mean there's respect, and vice versa.
Mhm.
So you have to have communication and respect. And, we both of us have had some faults early on where in prior
Mhm.
relationships it could have been deal killers. But
Mhm.
one time I did something that wasn't quite right, and Charlotte checked me on it, and I looked at her eye, and I realized she was right and I was wrong, and I
Mhm.
apologized, because you want to be right, or do you want to be with somebody? You want to be right and
Mhm.
stay single. And then there was one time,
Mhm.
she did something, and I talked to her about it. She said, she was sorry, and what something she
Mhm.
might have done in the past she didn't do.
Uh-huh.
And so we both have checked each other. But the key to that checking is respect. When you have that
Mhm.
respect, that leaves the avenue for communication to come back in.
Mhm.
So they
Mhm.
go hand in hand. We
Right.
Mhm.
communicate well, um, and if we don't, we still fall back on respect. So
Mhm.
with that true respect we have for one another, we figure we'll always get through any hurdle. Always.
Right.
Mhm.
Say, like you said, it might
Mhm.
not be butterflies and milkshakes and everything, but we will always get back together because we communicate and we respect. And then, like I said, know what you want and know what you need. And
Right.
those are
Mhm.
the things I could lean on every single day.
So,
Mhm.
Charlotte, what were your deal breakers when you was online? What would three deal breakers that, when you met a guy, was like, no, I'm not accepting that?
Mhm. If you didn't believe in God,
Mm-hmm.
if you were not able to take care of yourself, meaning, you know, you gotta have a car, have a job, be able to maintain your own self,
Mhm.
and just moral values. I find, and here again, I may get a lot of heat for this. I'm not into a lot of the new things that are out here, right? So I needed someone that wanted traditional values. So
Mhm.
my deal breaker was, if you wanted some of the new types of relationships that were out here, then I wasn't the person for you.
So when you say new
Mhm.
relationships, what are you talking about?
You
Poly?
talk about Polly.
Okay. That's what I thought you meant. I wanted to be clear.
I mean, listen, I'm nobody's third wheel. We're not doing that.
Right.
Got you. Got you.
Mm-mm.
And what were some of your deal breakers, Mark?
Oh
Three deal
wow.
breakers.
I guess the number one deal breaker, just as far as not thinking about external things, um, someone who can't laugh at themselves,
Hmm.
because we all make mistakes. So a lot of people are so, into themselves, they have that, prima donna kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I gotta have a person who can laugh at themselves, laugh at mistakes, um, because we're all gonna make them. That's being human. So to me, if you can't do that, I think that's just not real. So you gotta be able to laugh at yourself, because laugh gets you through a lot of things.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
think the second thing would be somebody who can't say, you know, I'm sorry or I was wrong.
Mhm.
You know, so laughing at yourself, but also to be able to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I
I
mean, that's
think
a
you got
big
Mhm.
one of the
deal.
last three women on the planet Earth that's capable of doing that. So you got one of them.
Don't
There's
Well,
like two more out there somewhere.
yeah. So I
Um,
mean,
say that,
and
Craig.
so I did women who, high income people, but it's
mhm.
like that's just a turnoff to me because I could just tell in conversations like, and then the other thing is a person who can only communicate one way. It's a one-way street. Again,
Mm.
from dating, I went on this one date and I felt like I was like Dr. Fauci the other day in front of Congress. It's
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm getting 1 million questions, but whenever I ask anything, well, I'm not ready to tell you that yet. So what?
Mm.
I've answered everything that you asked. And I asked like one or two things. I'm not ready to talk about that. Well, dudes, peace. I mean, you can't talk. We can't have
Mhm.
communication. So
Right.
I'm giving you everything about Mark, but you want to, I guess, at some point tell me about you. Then how about if it's a
Mhm.
year from now and you finally tell me the truth? How dumb is that to me? I'm sorry. That's a waste. You wasted
Mhm.
my time. So let's just get it out.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, whatever baggage it is, whatever hurt it is, whatever goals there are, speak on it right from the jump. So
Mhm.
I guess those would be my things. Be able to laugh at yourself. Be able to say I'm sorry or I'm wrong, and
Mhm.
then to be able, to communicate, truthfully, openly, and honestly.
Right.
So that would be it for
Complete
me.
transparency. So
Yeah.
is that
Mhm.
like one of the staples? Like, have you guys just been completely transparent with each other with everything? Like, did you have a list of things that were important for you to know?
We were to a fault, probably. I mean, as I'm
Hmm.
saying, that
Mhm.
first day we walked, both of us
Hmm.
pretty much just said everything, and I do mean that sincerely. But I think
Mhm.
it's because we had that energy, and even what Charlotte spoke
Mhm.
on, as far as even from I think you mentioned too, Irene, about religion and spirituality. I would call Charlotte to me more of a religious person than am I. No, I know the
Mhm.
Bible backward and forward. I grew up, but I was in Catholic Church, Baptist, and Methodist. So I know scripture, verse, all of that. But I consider
Mhm.
myself more of a spiritual person. So
Mhm.
I'm not like Charlotte, her devotion and her way of communicating with
Mhm.
God, that's her path. But we
Mhm.
have respect for each other's paths. Because I still believe in basic things. I don't care what religion it is, there's still basics to every religion. Self
Mhm.
respect, helping your fellow man, not killing, not stealing, not
Right.
coveting,
Right.
giving of yourself. And again, being honest. So
Mhm.
that's one thing that we are a little different, but we acknowledge that early on to see, okay, let me dig a little deeper to see could that be a deal killer? Because there are some people, I want you to go to church every single week. I want to read Genesis every single day,
Hmm.
and I want to go to Bible study twice a week. Well, that ain't me.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I can appreciate it if that's your path. So
Mhm.
I would call Charlotte more of a religious than am I. I consider myself more
Mhm.
spiritual, but we have again communication and respect. So we even bridge that together
Mhm.
without anything. We have good conversations about those things probably
Mhm.
twice a week. Twice a week.
Mhm.
Notice they'll talk about religion, politics, and
Politics.
money. That's all we talk about. Go ahead.
Hmm.
Good,
No,
Charlotte.
you
Go
hit the
ahead.
nail on the head. Religion and politics. We have very
Mhm.
vigorous conversations about it.
Mhm.
Right.
But
Right.
when we're having those conversations, because they can become heated sometimes, right? Because people are
Mhm.
very
Mhm.
passionate about those two subjects. But we
Mhm.
have developed a phrase that we say prior to saying something that
Yep. We
is going
know.
to agitate the other person.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say, I
Yeah.
love you, I love you, I love you. I say this with love. That means that it's
Uh-huh.
about to come, right? And when you
Mhm.
say that, I think it softens too the
Mhm.
person to say, babe, I'm not trying to attack you, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna say something that you disagree with, but
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not
Mhm.
saying it to attack you, belittle you,
Mhm.
demean you, disregard your opinions or your views or your ways of thinking. I still love you,
Mhm.
but I don't agree.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that's what we do.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
love what you guys said about even if the communication isn't there, you always fall back on respect. And I think that's what a lot of people don't expect. But you can see it because you're both spiritual and religious people. They think that only a woman is supposed to respect her husband, but a woman is also supposed to be respected by her husband as well. And that's how she's able to love and honor him. And so that respect has to be given both sides. It's not just only given to the man in a relationship.
right, and I totally agree. So, I'm going to ask a difficult question because we talk about this sometimes on the show, and that's like the issue of money. So, like when you guys had the discussion about how like you were going to deal with finances and stuff like that, was that a tough thing to discuss? Because sometimes, and obviously, I don't know what you guys do for a living, but sometimes a woman who makes more money than the guy will find it more challenging because the guy is not on that same level. So what kind of discussion did you guys have in terms of money?
Go ahead, Charlotte. I'll let you
I
have
knew
that
you
one.
was
I've
gonna
been
kick
there.
it to me. I knew you was gonna kick
I
it to
love
me.
you. I
I
love
love
you.
you, right? I love you. I love you. So yes, that was very much so a conversation we had right off the bat, right? Um, Look, I love you, babe. And we're just being very transparent. So I have been divorced probably about 13 years. And my kids are grown, 26 and 33. Mark is he has
9 years. 9 years.
9 years, and he has a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old. So
Hmm.
he's still rearing children. Because I work in healthcare, it yields that my salary is a slightly bit higher than his, right? But like I told Mark when we met, I you know I, I can take care of myself. I'm not that type of person that's looking for someone to take care of me. Now, do I want to take care of you? No. I didn't have to take care of him. No, he was able to take care of himself, right?
Hmm.
But we sat down and we said, okay, what does this look like um, going down the road in the future, right? What does household expenses look like? What is your expectation of me paying bills? And I asked what is his expectations of me paying bills, and we had to make sure that those things were aligned, right? Both of us had homes, so whose house are we going to move into, or are we going to purchase another house? Those were very, very difficult. I'm gonna underline this. Ariana, you hear me? They were very difficult
Oh
conversations.
no, trust me, I
Um,
understand.
and because we're older, and I moved into Mark's house with him because he had the larger house, a beautiful home. And but he's been a bachelor for 9 years, right? So I'll tell you a funny story. So I get ready to move in, and I'm moving my clothes in, and so I told him, I said, so I think I'm gonna need 4 closets. He said 4 closets. I said, I'm sorry. I really wanted the master bedroom closet for
The
myself.
whole thing. She
And
want.
he
She's like,
was like, "Oh
can I
my
get this much?
God." And then, and I said, and so like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like in my mind, I'm like, what do you think? I need a closet for my winter clothes. I need a closet for my spring clothes. I need a closet for my summer clothes. And then he was like, okay, all right, okay. Can I just have half of the master bedroom closet. And I said, and then I was like, oh yeah, like, uh, uh,
More
yeah.
like
So
one
it
third. It's
was
not a
like
half.
down to
It's
the
one third.
granular
You
things.
know,
Like,
I
One
know. I know
third.
it's a third. Because
Mhm.
women have more clothes.
She
They
has the
got
That
left
is
side,
bags.
not
the rear. I
true.
have
That I
the right
promise you that
side.
is not true. My late husband took the master closet because he had more clothes and shoes than I did, and he was a big man, so his suits took up half the closet by itself. So, like,
but it was
I don't
very
believe that.
granular. It was like, okay, I want to come in and I want to, redecorate and remodel and Mark is this sentimental person that still has the kids' Crayola um, cartoon stuff that they drew when they were 2 years old on the refrigerator, right? And
Mhm.
my house, because I've been an empty nester,
No.
Mark said, I walked in your house and thought it was a model home. And I was like, what? And so, down to little things like that.
Mhm.
Even, I don't even think he realized this, but one day I put the scissors in a drawer in the kitchen and he opened the drawer, he said, who put the scissors right here? And I was like, I did. He said, well, they don't go right here. They go over here. And I popped my neck like, oh, bro, I ain't been living here. I don't know where they go. So, and I said, it's just because we're older, right?
Yeah.
We're more set in our ways, and we have to make room for each other. And those have been some hurdles too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's the funny thing too, because and I've always said that as we get older, because we get set in our ways, right? And you're coming into his space, right? Like I know, like I have two sinks in my bathroom, and I don't like anyone using my sink, right? Like that's what the other sink is for, right? So I know, like if I ever get married, my wife, if my future wife is going to like, yo, don't use my sink,
Right,
right?
right.
Use
Yeah.
yours, right?
Yeah. So
Because I don't
it's
have
little
hair care
things.
products. I don't have none of that stuff. You
But
keep your
your whole
lipstick.
house is a bachelor pad. She's gonna have to come in and redo that entire thing, like blow
Oh,
implode
I've
it.
given her I've given her carte blanche except for three little things. We
Uh-huh.
narrowed it down. I got three little things I wanted. I said everything else, I got nothing to say about it. It's yours.
Mhm.
Now you know that's the truth, baby, isn't it?
I
I had
got that
three
on
Mhm.
things.
tape. I got that on tape now
Oh,
too. Yeah, no, he did say it.
You
Come on,
got
baby.
a witness here.
Right. No, he did say it. But we talked about it because what I told him was, I don't want you to feel like I'm coming in, like disrupting your home. It's your home. And he said, babe, no, it's our home. But, and I get that, but still psychologically, that can be stressful. It's stressful for me moving into a new environment, and it's stressful for him
Mhm.
having someone in his space. So I wanted to make sure I said that out loud so he could know I wasn't taking it for granted at all, right? It's just
Mhm.
because I'm a woman, it's just certain things that women do. And I'm that type of woman that
Mhm.
I'm very into interior and,
Mhm.
designs and,
Like plants. You like
Mhm.
plants?
Shut
no,
up,
not
and
Craig. He's
planned.
making fun of my house
all my
because I
friends
have
are on
plants
plants. I
everywhere.
haven't gotten there
You know.
yet. I have not gotten to the plant thing yet, but I
Uh-huh.
feel like it may be
Listen.
coming. But I,
Okay.
No,
my friends are.
she chops off plants. She takes care of plants. So she kills them out. Oh,
Yeah, I went
that's a
into it.
private
I
joke.
tore
Just talking
everything up.
about she took
Yeah,
care
the
of a lot of plants. They're
landscaping.
gone
Well,
now.
we have a
Mm-mm-mm.
pool outside, and so the landscaping. I was like, he has some wild lily growing. I told the landscaper, take out, just pull it up, just pull everything, because I'm very like mod and
Mhm.
clean. Like I just want everything just like very clean, chic.
Got
So.
you. Got you. Got you. Okay. So
Mhm.
I want to first, thank you guys. I have thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed both of you. Like, you guys got to come back,
Yes, this
definitely,
is really
and tell us how
good.
things are going and stuff like that, because people are going to want to know,
Mhm.
like, did it survive?
Right, right.
Really, yeah. I
No,
mean,
it
you
Right.
can feel you guys' energy just, over the internet right now. Like it's beautiful. I love like you guys look like an amazing couple. You can really
Yeah,
feel it.
and I love black love, to be honest with you. I love when, two
It's the
people
black love for me.
find each other, you know what I mean? Because you know what? We're meant to be with a partner. Everybody should have companionship. So the folks that
Mm-hmm.
are blessed and fortunate enough to find that one that, and I'm not going to say that completes them, but complements them.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all should find someone that complements us. When you go somewhere, you're proud to have your partner there because you know that she has your back, and you know what, it's just a perfect synergy. So I
Mm-hmm.
thank both of you for coming on and being honest and transparent and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Thank you.
So I want to
Mm-hmm.
thank our viewers because we've had quite a few viewers
Mm-hmm.
watching and making
And it was
comments.
a pleasure meeting both of you.
Thank you
Yes,
guys
I do
so
yes,
want to say
much for
one last
having me.
thing,
yes.
and I'm gonna let Charlotte finish it because she's my baby. Hashtag.
Mark and Charlotte.
Oh, I love that. Oh, well, congratulations again, you
Yes,
newlyweds.
yes,
It
Thank
was
yes,
you
such a
so much,
pleasure meeting
Ariana. Thank
you.
you, Craig. Thank you so much.
yes.
Great show. Much success and many blessings to you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so we
Thank you,
will
Chris.
be
Thank you,
back
Ariana.
next Wednesday at 9 p.m. If you have any
Mm-hmm.
questions, any comments for the show, feel free to email me at craigpalmer25@gmail.com because we always get questions. So I may actually shoot you guys some questions and stuff like that because I'm sure there are questions that people might have
Mm-hmm.
that maybe I didn't broach
Mm-hmm.
or Arena didn't mention.
Mm-hmm.
So I may shoot you guys, and maybe I actually have to come back and answer some of those questions.
Not a
I feel
problem.
like it's gonna be an uptick in Bumble after tonight, though. Everybody's gonna go and
Right?
sign up for
Thank you,
Bumble, like, oh, I want me one of
Bumble.
them.
Yeah,
They will get a residual from it or something.
yeah.
You guys have a great night. It
So
was a
you guys have a
pleasure.
great
You
All right.
too.
night.
Be
See
good.
everybody next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.